everyone. My name is Miss M, and I'm an elementary school teacher. And today I've created this video to teach people with unique learning needs, what we sometimes call exceptionalities, about some skills and strategies that you can use to help you learn and thrive at school and beyond. So that's the purpose of this video. So if you're watching this video, it probably means that you have learned or been told that you have a unique learning need, as I said, what we sometimes call an exceptionality. And so that might include someone with a learning disability. It might include someone who is on the autism spectrum. Perhaps you have a visual impairment or a hearing impairment. You might be gifted. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 things. The first thing we're going to talk about is self-advocacy, which is really asking for what you need, speaking up for yourself. The second thing we're going to talk about is self-determination, which basically means having a say in what happens to you, having some choice. And the third thing we're going to talk about is what you can do to learn and thrive at school and beyond. So those are the 3 things we're going to talk about today, and we're going to start out with self-advocacy. Okay, so as I mentioned, self-advocacy is really the ability to speak up for yourself. You know what it means to speak up for someone else, to stand up for someone else. So when we self-advocate, what we're doing is we're standing up for ourselves. We are telling other people what we need. And in order to be a good self-advocate, which is an incredibly important skill for people that have unique learning needs, you really need to have 3 things. First thing you need is you need to understand what your needs are. The second thing you need to do is you need to know what support will help you with your unique learning needs. And the final thing you need is you need to be able to communicate those needs to others. So 3 things: know what your needs are, know what supports will help, communicate those needs to others. We'll talk about that a little bit in more detail. So I want to explore one of those ideas in a little bit more detail, which is knowing what your needs are. As you're getting older, you'll take more and more responsibility for your own learning. And that's whether you're a student with unique learning needs or not. And one of the things that you can do is perhaps you know that you have some unique learning needs, but no one's really explained it to you. So one thing that you can do is you can ask a trusted adult. It might be your teacher, it might be your parent, it could be your principal, it could be the special education teacher in your school, to sit down with you and explain what's in your IEP, explain what your unique learning needs are or your exceptionality, and ask them to tell you what are some of the things that will help you learn. Because maybe no one sat down and explained that to you, but it's incredibly important that you have an understanding of what your learning needs are and what will help you thrive in school and beyond. So I would recommend that if you don't really have an understanding, maybe you understand that you have an IEP, but you're not sure why. Maybe you understand that you've had some learning challenges, but you're not sure if you have an exceptionality, then I would really encourage you to advocate with a trusted adult, to have someone explain your learning needs to you and what support will help you in the classroom so that you can be a good self-advocate, which will help you become a more confident learner and which will in turn help you become a more successful learner. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is self-determination. And self-determination is really about having a say in what happens to you and making decisions for yourself, or decisions which will help you learn and thrive. So self-determination can take a lot of different forms. But one form that it takes is being able to learn in the way that best suits you, or to demonstrate your learning in the way that you know will allow you to use your strengths. So, for example, if you know that you maybe you have a learning disability which impacts your ability to write, but you know that you're an excellent oral communicator, then having the choice to communicate your learning by speaking instead of by writing, or perhaps through an artistic project or a project that involves building. Perhaps you're good with building or constructing. So being able to have some choice in how you demonstrate your learning is incredibly important and part of self-determination, or having a say in how you learn and what happens to you. There's two other things I want to talk about when it comes to self-determination. The first is, one thing I always say to my students is learning is active, not passive, which means that the more that we are actively engaged in our own learning, making decisions for ourselves, raising our hand, asking questions, all of those things support our learning. And that's as true for students that have unique learning needs as it is for anyone else. So being an active learner is part of being an active learner is part of self-determination. And as you continue on in school, the last thing I want to talk about is really just that right to make decisions for yourself, and telling the people around you, your parents, your teachers, that you want to have a say in, it might include things like what courses you're taking, or whether you're doing summer school, where you sit in the classroom, input into your individual learning plan or IEP. So being able to contribute or have a say in all aspects of your learning, it will help you grow confidence, grow more confidence, and again, thrive at school and in life. The last thing I'd like to do in this video is give you some real-life examples of things that you can do to self-advocate and to give you a challenge. So, for example, if you're someone who struggles with sensory overload, or can get overstimulated when there's a lot of noise or perhaps light, then simply asking for something that you need to help you deal with that situation is self-advocacy. So if you know that headphones help, asking for your headphones. If you know that a break helps, asking to take a break. These are examples of self-advocacy. If you're someone who has a learning disability, or perhaps a visual or a hearing impairment, and you know that sitting at the front of the class or near the teacher is something that you need, then you just say, Ms. M, I just want to remind you, I need to sit near the front of the classroom. And in most cases, the teacher will say, oh, I'm so sorry, of course you do. Please come up to the front, or let me sort that out for you. Sometimes we forget. And while we shouldn't forget, it's incredibly helpful if we get a gentle reminder from our students about what you need to thrive. And one more example is, if you're someone who needs access to technology in order to learn, and it might be your laptop, it might be a headset, it might be particular software, like a text reader or something like that, or voice to text, and if that's not being provided to you, but you know that's something that you need, please ask for it. Learning to ask for what you need not only supports your learning, but it helps you grow your confidence. It helps you understand what your needs are, and just become a more effective learner overall. So I really would encourage you to figure out what it is you need to learn. Make sure you know your learning needs, and then never hesitate to ask for what you need to succeed at school. Finally, the last thing I want you to do is I really want you to think about what's one thing that you think would help you learn at school that you're maybe not getting or you're not getting consistently right now? What is that one thing? And who can help you get that one thing at school? So think about that one thing. Who can help you get that one thing or help you get it more consistently? And I challenge you to have a conversation, or you can send an email, you can write a note, you can make a video, and ask for that one thing that will help you succeed. I think you'll feel really great about doing it, and it will, again, help you learn and thrive at school. Anyways, it's been great chatting with you today, and I hope you found this helpful. Take care. Keep learning.